Hey guys, it's me again, Lala, and I want to continue sharing about my whole explant journey. In the last video, I spoke about the reason why I decided to even get breast implants and my whole journey through that. Now, I ended that video with everything started to fall apart, right? So there were actually 3 things that happened to me that made me realize, okay, I have to do something. I have to get these implants removed, or I have to do something because my body already was giving me signs. And my cousin Madeline is here with me today because she's actually part of the process. So one of the first things that happened to me, it's actually quite funny, that made me realize, hold up, there's a problem here, was my sister and I decided to do this Instagram reel. It was like a trend that everyone was doing, something really funny. And we recorded it, we posted it up. It was during the summer. I was wearing a little crop top shirt. I had no bra on. We did it and we posted it. And the amount of likes and shares and comments that the video got was quite shocking. I didn't think this video was gonna do so good. I didn't think it would have over 2 million views. It became kind of viral and I'm like, oh my God, that's funny. I started reading the comments and some of the comments were funny, but some of the comments were funny, but they were kind of mean at the same time. There were many people that were writing things about my boobs, my nipples, and though I laughed at it, and I still laugh, it's funny because it's true, it kind of weighed heavy in the back of my head. Like, something is not right. Clearly people are commenting on it. My boobs, they don't look good. They look very stiff. And I didn't like that. I thought it was funny because I don't take myself too serious, but I was like, all right. I kind of just kept it to myself. I kept it to myself. Then, another thing is I was watching the movie Mean Girls.
Oh my God.
Okay, and there's a scene in that movie where Lindsay Lohan's character is being told to watch out for the mom because she had just gotten breast implants and her breast implants were very hard. And so when Lindsay Lohan's character goes to hug the mom, she even goes like, ow. And I know it's quite funny that I'm even saying this, but then that got me thinking like, oh my goodness, is that what people feel when I hug them? Because I was aware that my boobs were getting harder and harder, and it got to a point where they were hurting me. And it's specifically that day where I recorded the reel, I remember my boobs feeling kind of hard. That's why I didn't even wear a bra that day, and I was just very uncomfortable. So those 2 things really stood out to me. They were so simple, but they really like it bothered me a little bit, and I kept trying to like push it to the side. Then I think this was like the biggest thing that really caught my attention. My friend Steph Michaels had posted a video on her Instagram about going through a similar process of taking her implants out and how that made her sick. And then my cousin had been going through her own health issues where she was struggling, she didn't know what it was, and I started putting things together like, okay, something's here. This is something that I have to start like really taking serious. And so that's why my cousin's here, because I want her to express to you guys like what she went through. How did you come up with that? How did you know that it was your implant, basically?
Hi guys, I'm the cousin. Yeah, I mean, we have different stories, but in a way it's kind of similar, right? Like why we got them. Like I had my implants for 9 years before I explanted them out. But at the time that I got them, or I chose to get them, I was really into fitness, and I just didn't like how I looked being, flat-chested. And at the end of the day, that was my decision. I didn't ask for anybody's opinion. It was one of those, it was one of those like, I'm doing this and that's it, and I got them. And, after that was that. But my health issues began almost 2 years ago, or 1.5 years ago, where one of the first things I noticed was just extreme fatigue, like very tired, constantly, like tired where I wasn't even up like at 5 o'clock in the morning doing workouts or anything like that, or going to work and then, staying up late. I was, having my day, 8 hours of work, and I was coming back and I was exhausted. I couldn't stay awake, basically. So I found that really off of me. So when I went to get blood work, I went to the doctor, I went to get blood work, that's where I noticed that my levels, my white blood count levels were not where they're supposed to be. Actually, they were at a very scary level. But actually, let me just take this back a little bit more, because my first issue was heart palpitations. I was having heart problems. That kind of scared me, right?
Being
what's
at
funny
work,
is
that I would feel sometimes that too, but I would just ignore it.
Yeah, so you shouldn't ignore it.
No, I would just ignore it.
Not a good idea, but I was at work. For many of you know that I'm a police officer, and I was sitting at my desk doing reports, and I felt it, and I was like, wait, this is not right. This is not normal. I went to go see Dr. Kim in Fort Lee. So the reason why I'm mentioning Dr. Kim is because he's the only doctor who acknowledged my concern for breast implant illness. And he said, yes, there's new information coming out where implants are making women sick. And I appreciate that, because I went to go see a neurologist. I went to go see a hematologist, gynecologist, my regular doctor. All of them brushed off the breast implant illness, telling me there's no evidence-based information, research that says, yes, breast implant illness is causing all these problems.
And I want to point out that that's important, because it made you feel like, what's wrong with me? Because all these doctors are brushing you off. And so now it begins to mess with your head.
Right, so my health is declining. Like I know my health is declining, I feel it. And I'm not getting any answers that are helping me. And with all this, I'm getting constant sinus infections, constant eye infections, hypothyroidism. I was diagnosed with hypothyroidism, rashes, unexplained rashes, the extreme fatigue, obviously, low libido. Oh my God, I could go on and on.
You had also joint pain.
Yeah, I had major joint pain in my hands. And actually, one of the scariest part through all this was the summer of last year, where my blood levels were so low that I had to see a hematologist to get checked for leukemia, to brush it off. Leukemia, rheumatoid arthritis, and lupus, which are all autoimmune diseases, to make sure that that's not what's causing my problems. And thankfully it wasn't, but then it didn't explain what was going on with me. I couldn't get an answer.
I know my hair got a little dry. It was just weird. And then like you, I then began to get a rash in my neck, a rash in my eye. Something that I had never ever had to deal with. I was wondering, I went to the dermatologist to see what was it. I went to an allergist, and nobody could tell me what it was, and the medicines or the lotions that they would give me did not work.
Yeah.
I stopped wearing makeup for about 2.5 weeks to see maybe it's the makeup. I tried to change the foundation. I tried to change different brushes, the brands of mascara. Nothing. I would still get this rash. I was itchy and it wouldn't go away. So that was something weird that I'm like, what is this?
Yeah.
Why is this happening to me? I've never had this problem. And then of course my issue wasn't so much of my levels being off, but it was the rash, and then the big rocks basically that were my boobs. They became so hard, and I remember.
See, that's one of the difference. Mine were soft. Mine.
They look natural.
Yeah, they look natural.
They were you know what boobs are supposed to feel like. And mine, I remember at one point we had a touching session. Wait a minute, this isn't how mine feel.
Yeah, yours were this, and mine were soft. You could literally knock on yours and stuff. Yeah.
So there was one day where I went to go visit you at your job
at work
at the police station, and we're just talking about what is this? What's going on? And you had already started doing your research.
Yeah, so not knowing much of what she was going through, I was already going into research and learning more about breast implant illness, and I must have seen hundreds of videos of women explaining what they're going through, and every story has some similarity. And I'm like, wait a minute, this is me. Her story is me. Her story is me. And I just kept thinking, it has to be this.
Yeah, and then went and showed her the video of my friend Steph, who had, you know, shared on social media her experience with her breast implants and how it actually got her very sick, and you know, she had cancer and all that. And so we're exchanging information and videos, and that's when I think that was the day we decided, like, let's do this together. Let's take these implants out and let's just go for it.
Yeah.
But it wasn't an easy decision. No. Definitely not an easy decision, because so much goes through your head, like, oh my goodness, what am I gonna look like after I don't have these implants? Like, or is it gonna just be loose skin? How bad is the surgery? How long is it gonna be? What if I don't even qualify for this type of surgery? What if when I do have this surgery, they find something terrible? Am I gonna be a burden now to my family? Just so many things go through your head that it's very difficult to decide whether this is what you need, or what if it wasn't the implants, and here I am going through this process and spending money on it.
Yeah, that's like that's a legit concern and stuff. But I think on my end, I was more like, I need these out. I think once you realize your health is declining, you know, I have a daughter, so I want to be there for her. So I was all for, no, I need these out. I don't care what happens after, I need to get these out. And we started doing research on doctors.
Now, you actually told me this. There's only about like 7, at the time, there's only like 7 or 8 expert specialists when it comes to explanting implants.
Yeah, so the important thing is not just about removing the implant, but what's important is removing the capsule, the entire capsule from your body, right? And even though there's a lot of doctors out there who do, there's only about, at the time when I was doing the research, there was only 7 experts in explanting.
In the whole United States.
And on the East Coast, we looked into Dr. Rankin at Aqua Plastic Surgery in Jupiter, Florida. And that was it for us. Like, we saw his videos, we were stalking his Instagram page. We were on, he has a fan page on Facebook. We're, you know, looking at all that, looking at different stories. You know, I would literally read the comments, and we decided, hey, it's in Florida, it's not that far, let's go here. And so we made an appointment. I remember I made the appointment. You flew in the same day and left. Yeah.
That same day. You only flew in.
Well, remember, before
that's right.
our surgery.
Let me backtrack that.
We need to mention our angel.
Yes.
Miss D. Miss D, which works with Dr. Rankin at Aqua.
She is such a sweetheart. She answers you back, she picks up your phone call, and she's just makes you feel very comfortable about the whole process.
Yeah, and a big advocate of breast implant illness, with, you know, her story herself going through the same thing,
and all these other women that she's helped.
She's actually part of the reason why the FDA now has a black box warning that comes with breast implant illness. That didn't exist a couple of years ago. Nothing. All this information that's coming out did not exist.
And it's funny because we do so much research before getting the implants. You want to make sure you have the right doctor, like I mentioned in my last video. You do this, and then this warning wasn't there. Had this warning been there, I probably wouldn't have gotten the implants.
Yeah, none of this information that we know now, you know, was available to us. Well, that definitely wasn't available to me 9 years ago.
It wasn't available to me 3 years ago.
Yeah. But now, you know, now that we know better, we do better. And I always, you know, we like to stick to, you learn something new, you share information, which is part of the reason why we're doing this video.
And so with that, we decided, let's make the appointment. And sorry, I'm just gonna fix your hair here. Let's make the appointment and let's go see the doctor. Dr. Rankin does do consultations through FaceTime, over the phone, and that's an option, but I needed to physically see him. So, which he does that too. So we flew to Florida to see him, get the consultation, and see what he would tell us. And that was a very nerve-wracking day for the both of us, I feel. My mom came with us, and you know, we saw him, very nice, and you know.
What did he tell you girls?
What he told us was, take them out. Like Dr. Rankin stopped doing implants. He does not put implants on women anymore. He hasn't done it for about 3 years. He just solely does explants. So that was a big thing for us. Like, all right, there's a reason why he's not putting them in anymore, because he sees the damage that is causing the implants.
Yeah, there's a big difference between a plastic surgeon who, you know, just does what you ask him to do and everything, and then there's Dr. Rankin, who not only, you know, does what he has to do, but he believes in what's going on now, and he also is an advocate for women who are going through all this. So yeah, it's nice to talk to a doctor that's like, yeah, listen, all my patients are having similar symptoms, or most of my patients, and you know, some symptoms are different than other. And then hearing the stories of women recovering or even feeling better after, you know, I mean, listen, explant, removing implants is not the miracle of things. You know, you can't replace, you know, good diet, exercise, and rest.
Right.
But it's definitely one of the reasons why our body now feels probably maybe a little calmer, and there's healing that goes beyond that.
Yeah. So we went to see him, you know, we showed him our tatas and, you know, he took his time with each one of us. I remember for me, he said, your breast implants are completely capsulated. They are in there, they're hard. You have to take them out. Like, they can't get any harder. And I remembered asking him, like, well, all right, if I take them out, because at this point I'm like, yes, I want to take them out, but part of me was like, can I replace them with smaller boobs maybe? And he's like,
you were really struggling with
I was really struggling. And he was like, he shut me down completely. He's like, I don't put implants. I don't take them out to put smaller ones. So if that's what you're thinking, I can't help you with that. And then he recommended, if they've capsulated the first time, one of them did, and now again, both of them are capsulated, chances are the third pair are also gonna capsulate. And you're just gonna be spending money on more implants for only the same thing to happen. So then I'm like, all right, so that's not an option. Because I thought, oh, I have silicone, what if I change to saline? And he's like, no, saline implants can capsulate as well. And then he was very honest. He's like, I don't think you have a lot of breast tissue in this area. So this could be a possibility. You may need a revision after 3 or 4 months if need be. So obviously that put, like, I got kind of like frustrated with that. But he was honest. He's like, I'm not gonna sell you like, oh, take them out, everything's gonna be perfect. No, everybody is different and everyone's gonna react differently. But I like the fact that he didn't sugarcoat anything. He said what he said, and I can appreciate that. Made me cry towards the end, because at the end I'm like, what have I put myself through? My sister, she's gonna love that I say this. My sister was right, so was my mom. I should have listened. So, but that's something that I had to just deal with and swallow and just, you know, move past it. And then with you.
Yeah, again, I was taking them out. I was like, yes, just remove them. I'm doing that, you know, like my health was, and I would tell you that too. I'm like, Lala, you don't understand that when you feel your health declining, you just don't care, you know, like you realize like that whole thing about looks, how it's gonna look after, that wasn't on my mind, and I was trying to help her understand it, and I know that she was struggling with it a little bit.
Well, because what I do too, I'm in radio, I do some TV. I was afraid that I was gonna come out looking like, you know, chopped liver, I don't know what. In my head, I was going like all these stupid thoughts, but it's true what you say. What's the point of looking good when you feel terrible? Like, that doesn't make any sense. So it all kind of just clicked at the end.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's a click, right? It's a switch, and then you're like, oh shit. Like,
yeah, and then I start thinking like, we've all been sick before. We've all had a cold, had the flu or whatever, and you feel so crappy. And I'm like, I don't want to feel like this. And if after 3 years my boobs are so capsulated, I can't even imagine what they would be like in another year. Like what would my health be like?
Right, exactly. What would they be doing to your body after a couple of years? Having that like that, yeah. So that's pretty tough. Yeah, I mean it's a process, not just physically, mentally, emotionally. It's all a process. this wasn't an overnight decision. Again, like we were looking into this for a year and a half, maybe more, a little bit more than that. And through that, like you're still debating, like, is this really my implants? Or no, it's not. Like it's just a roller coaster of emotion, and
definitely is.
There's no regrets.
There's no regrets.
Absolutely not.
And finally, there is a waiting line. Dr. Rankin is very popular and he's great at his craft, at what he does. So when we decided we're gonna do this, we realized, oh wait, this isn't gonna like, okay, I'm gonna book my appointment 1 week from today, boom, they're out. No, there is actually a waiting list because there are so many women that want to just get rid of their implants. So we had to do a little waiting. And finally, we got a date. It was December 13th of 2022, the D-Day, like we call it, where we both got our implants removed. And we're so lucky that we were able to do it on the same day and that we had each other to like, you know, share this experience with, because it's hard alone just deciding it, but to be able to do it with someone that, you know, like family member, cousin, I thought that was pretty neat.
And then the care that we had after. Count my cousin Lulu.
She was amazing.
And my aunt.
And
we're
my mom.
angels. Yeah, we're angels. So I'm definitely lucky that I also had you with me, but that I also had them to care for me as well.
Yes.
It wasn't easy after.
And that's gonna be actually part of the last video. What happens after you get your implants taken out? What is that process like? And that'll be our next video. But before we end this video, we both want to say that this is our personal experience and the whole explant journey. You know, we had our own symptoms. She had her own health issues separately. At no point are we trying to tell anyone what to do with their own bodies.
Yeah, we understand that there's other reasons why women do decide to get implants. And again, what we want to express by sharing our story is, one, what's important is
listen to your body. If you're thinking about doing any type of surgery and anything, not just, you know, implants, do your research and do your research well. Like I said before, look at reviews, look at the doctor's histories, how much experience he has, what has he dealt with, and just, again, listen to your body.
Yeah, and then listening to your body is make sure you advocate for yourself. Again, you know, in this story, a lot of women have that, hey, doctors are listening to us or brushing off breast implant illness, so make sure you advocate.
That's right. But we look forward for you to sticking around and watching what happens after you get your implants removed. It's a whole other journey in itself. So we invite you to continue to follow this page, like, and share with everyone.